Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar. Is the method for me? Is it for you? I am so excited to be on this call. You know, at some level I almost feel like my whole life was leading up to this moment, because as I've told the previous participants of the method, the program grew out of my struggle to my commitment to not just survive but to thrive. So the method is based on ancient mystical teachings. I incorporate many different modalities in it. In fact, a wonderful academic wrote his PhD on the program at Emory University. And one of the things that he said is that he saw a lot of inspiration out there, but very little transformation. And he followed people in my program for 1 year and saw how their lives were changed and transformed. I actually have a group of people joining me for the advanced method, the method graduates, this year. So people stick with the program because they find that it works. And that said, it's not a quick fix. My coaching isn't one of those where I would say, okay, you know, join and I'll get your life together in a week, or this is one thing that's going to change your life. I don't think that that's the case. Change takes work. If you want to become fit physically, it takes work. To become spiritually fit takes work, and that's what we do in the method. So the program is structured based on the tree of life. And that mystical tree of life has various components. There's the top part of the tree and the top of the middle, and then the lower middle, and then the very bottom of the tree. And I call those sections SQ, IQ, EQ, and BQ. Spiritual, intellectual, emotional, and behavioral intelligence. The tree is also divided into left and right, which has implications for you and your life in terms of the way you give, receive, the boundaries you set, etc. But what I want to focus on now is those 4 intelligences. Your spiritual intelligence is something that is beyond your rational mind. You can't grasp that with ideas. And think about your body. Your body is a map. So I'm going to just move this camera. 1 sec. Seems a bit blurry tonight. Maybe low internet. So think about your skull. It is around your brain. Your brain is where your rational mind, your intelligence is, even though in the brain itself there are many different areas that have different kinds of intelligence. But your senses, these 7 portals, the ears, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, we call them the 7 gates. In Hebrew are termed chushim. Chushim is from the word chash, silence, because there are no words there. And there's another opening which is right here at the top of the skull. It's the fontanelle, and that's the opening portals to your superconscious, not the unconscious, not the irrational, but what is beyond irrational, what is beyond you. So in the method, we deal with this, and I have a meditation program that takes people through each semester. We focus on different things. And I wanted to learn how to control my mind, because it would go places that I didn't want, or particularly I became aware of it when I was trying to pray and I couldn't focus. I wanted to be able to focus. And so I began doing research both on the science of the brain, on meditation, and of course in mystical, biblical, Kabbalistic texts, and began doing exercises. So that involved firstly breath, because your mind rides on a wave that is carried in the breath. One of our most powerful meditations is called the Divine Breath Meditation, and it is based on a teaching that the essence of your life force is in your nostrils, particularly the left nostril, which is the female nostril. So, you know, when people sneeze, you say, bless you, hachu, hachu, we all fall down like ring a rosies. That's actually because your life force is in the nostrils. Everything has a reason. It goes back to some source. So we begin our meditations learning about breathing. I teach you how to adjust your heartbeat to your breath and how to simply follow your breath, how to work your diaphragm. That's the beginning. It's so simple. It's physiological, but by attaching your awareness to your breath, you begin to train the mind. And then we move on and do things like brain gym and different fun exercises that are there to teach you how to control your brain. There's a lot of visualization work, and that has to do with learning how to see. In my degree, fine arts, I studied fine arts. Many people in America think I'm saying finance. No, it's fine arts. We were told that the main challenge is not in the putting down of something, but in the seeing of that thing. So we do exercises learning how to see, and then practicing seeing with our eyes closed. And then finally, we move on to deep meditation. On my blog, there's a really great post. It's a translation of the first page of an article on meditation. I think the article is called How to Meditate, and it's a discourse of Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson. Actually, not a discourse, it was a letter he wrote to a young 17-year-old girl. And I teach this. We go into it more in the advanced method because this is very deep content about meditation, but this is basically the path, SQ. So we have our spiritual intelligence. Then comes rational intelligence. And to deal with that, to attend to that, at the beginning of every module, you get a slideshow. The slideshows are about 30 to 50 minutes. I would say they average about 40 minutes. And we also have lessons. Those are from lectures that I gave, and also live calls where I was teaching that have been edited. There's a lot of learning that is involved. And when you take the method, pretty much every day something is going to be dripping in your content. So you'll get a new lesson, or you'll get a new slideshow, a new audio lesson, a new meditation. The meditations are yours. You can download them to your device and listen to them on the go, or let's say you're lying in bed at night. So that's the SQ and the IQ. I'm going to skip the heart for a minute. That's what we call EQ, the emotional intelligence, and go to the BQ. I found that there was a lot of learning. People had access to texts. Some people didn't because they didn't have access to the Hebrew. But many people I knew did, and still weren't finding the change that they wanted in the world. And so I began to ask myself, what's missing? The steps, the behavioral component wasn't there. And so I created phenomenal steps. I mean, they are so fun and also challenging. I set people up with what I call co-coach me partners. You don't have to do that. You can take the program without a partner. So you get this co-coach me partner, and then in your lessons, there is content that drips. There'll be a PDF. That lesson is just going to be a suggestion, something that you can do. So for example, this is not something we do in the first semester, but in the second semester, when we get really deep into getting out of our social, psychological, spiritual limitations. In that semester, there's an exercise where I model for the class. It really breaks things open for people. I gave them an exercise to write 3 different poems about their lives, very specific poems, and I modeled it. And they basically played coach. I gave the mic to different people, and they played coach, and I was the one who answered. So you get to hear all my exploration and learn how to apply the method. So those are the steps. You get these PDFs. But in addition to that, so that's the behavioral component, there's the heart center. Now I want to say something. Really, to get something, you have to get it in your heart. Doesn't work. If not, you haven't really learned it. At some level, this neck is the longest distance in the whole world, from the head to the heart. And I want for the participants of the program to get the whole thing, start to finish, that their heart should become whole. And in fact, when we look at the first letter of the Torah, is the letter Bet, for the word Bereshit, in the beginning of God's process of creating the heaven and earth. The Torah ends with the letter Lamed, Ba'ene Kol Yisrael, that God spoke these words in front of the eyes of all of Israel. And if you read the letters back to front, the Torah starting at the end and going to the front, you have the word Lev, which spells heart. And so my goal is to really give you a fresh access to your own heart. One of the isms in the method, you get these great isms and sayings that we start to live by. One of our isms is, don't be new, be you. You don't have to turn over a new leaf. You just have to undo and let go of all that stuff that's holding you back. Michael Collin, who did his PhD at Emory University and teaches at life.edu, wrote his PhD on the program, and he shifted his PhD 3 years in because he felt that this was the real deal. He said to me, you know, Shimona, there are a lot of people that are taking regular coaching models and then they dress it up in mystical teachings or biblical teachings. This is not that. This is inside out. It's the real deal from the inside to the outside, folks. And he said the coaching works. I've almost never had someone, of course, you know, you're going to miss once in a while. Not one person can be an agent for everyone, but people love the program, and they love it because they find that it impacts their lives and their relationship. All right, so it's really my privilege to be on this journey with everyone. I consider it to be holy work, and I am super blessed to be able to do the thing I love best every day. And I hope this was useful. If you've got more questions, so let me know, or I'm going to be posting this on the blog, so just look down below and there'll be a place for you to post your questions and comments, and we'll get back to you. I really hope you can join me. All the best. God bless. Bye-bye.